Rock Lobsters. Coming up in a moment, we hope you enjoy.
Head coach Garrett Rutledge underlined just one New Year's resolution for 2026, win a Commissioner's Cup with the Athens Rock Lobsters. That may just be in the cards for the Crustaceans, but first, Rutsy is hoping to get the team off to a winning start in the new year. Could Athens give itself the best chance to retake the top of the Continental Division this weekend, or will the Zydeco rain on their parade? Good evening, Crustacean Nation, and welcome to Raising Cane's River Center in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where the Zidico take on your Athens Rock Lobsters. My name is Matchim, and I'm coming at you live on both YouTube and Sportfy. Before we get started, make sure you like the stream, subscribe to play a part in our world-famous chat, and ring the bell to stay notified of all future Rock Lobster content. The Piedmont Athens Regional Pregame Show starts right here and right now. Athens enters its first meeting with the Zidico this season after a thrilling shootout win over in-state rivals, the Columbus River Dragons. After what was frankly a difficult first period to watch, the Rock Lobsters consistently pulled themselves back up after each blow they took. Down 2-0 entering the second, they quickly came back to pull it level at 2-2 through the Moscow Mule Gleb Bandurkin and Devin Maillet's first goal as a professional. But the River Dragons' 2-goal lead was restored nearly as quick as it evaporated, going into the second intermission with a 4-2 advantage. The Lobsters looked heroic in the third period once again. 3 unanswered goals, with Eric Neiley jump-starting the effort with a power play tally, and Bandurkin tying it with his second of the night through the 5-hole of Trevor Babin. And Joe Mack sprawled out to the ice as he gave the Rock Lobsters its first lead of the night at 5-4, but it was a lead that lasted less than 30 seconds, with Joetten Blacksmith knotting the score back up at 6-5. Rather, at 5-5, pardon me. After 65 minutes of without separation, Filip Virgili scored the lone shootout goal, and William Lavalliere, who made 41 saves in regulation and overtime, stopped all 3 Columbus shootout attempts to seal the win. Let's take a look at the forward lines for tonight. Starting forwards will be Filip Virgili, Joe Mack, and Brandon Picard. Dominic Dumas will play to the right of Garrett Milan as returner Malik Johnson serves his 1-game suspension tonight. Carter Shinkarik and Joe Colatarsi will be the first D pair on the ice, with a Great Wall of Montreal back between the pipes to wrap up our Akins Ford engine starters. Matt Garcia also checks back into the lineup. Our starting lineup is brought to you by Akins Ford. If you're looking to start your 2026 with a new pickup truck, why not trust the biggest and best Ford dealership in the Peach State? Give us a call at Akins Ford. Could potentially be a big weekend for the Continental Division standings. Monroe started the year with a lead in the division, but Athens has a game at hand. If the Rock Lobsters are able to sweep one half of the Louisiana teams in the FPHL, and Monroe splits against the Columbus River Dragons this weekend, the Rock Lobsters will be back on top. Rock Lobsters out on the ice. The Zydeco have struggled this season, specifically in generating offense. Let's take a look with our Steven Self tail of the tape. They've generated shots but found it difficult to convert them. They are tied for the second least points earned in the FPHL with 20, only 5 wins, but they do have 3 in their last 10. They also have the lowest power play clip in the Fed with a percentage of 12.1. They are on the hunt for their first ever win against the Rock Lobsters. They are currently 0-9 all time against Athens. That just about does it for tonight's Piedmont Athens Regional Pregame Show. Piedmont, real change lives here. Awaiting the starting lineup for the Baton Rouge Zydeco, the Rock Lobsters coming into this one, having had a little bit of injury trouble over the past couple weeks, but back to a point where they can put 9 forwards on the ice. Still in a position, though, where the Athens Rock Lobsters are trying to get healthy. Meanwhile, the Baton Rouge Zydeco, interestingly enough, they don't have any players on their roster with 20 points and don't have any player on their roster that's a point-per-game player. No one with double-digit goals. Again, highlighting just how many offensive struggles they've had in the season thus far. We'll hopefully see some familiar faces on the night. We'll talk about that in just a second. Once again, 20 points so far for the Baton Rouge Zydeco this season. That ties them with the Indiana Sentinels in the Empire Division. Out come the Baton Rouge Zydeco as we are minutes away from getting started. Man of the red light asking what's with the dark spot. I think that's just where the Titantron or big screen hangs out over the ice there. Don't think I saw anything like that though when we're at the full sheet. Hunter Alden getting the start tonight, a former Athens Rock Lobster. There are a few Baton Rouge Zydeco that are associated with the Athens Rock Lobsters. Hunter Alton, one of them. Stephen Ford, who had a couple games as an Athens Rock Lobster. And of course, former equipment manager Tommy McDonald. It was great to see Tommy at morning skate earlier today. And Aro Toivonen, who I thought was going to wear number 4, is going to wear number 15 tonight. Rock Lobster fans might be familiar with the name. He was a Monroe Moccasin just a couple weeks ago.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please join us for a moment of silence to honor our military's missing in action and prisoners of war. Brought to you by the Military Order of the Purple Heart, Baton Rouge, Chapter 177. Thank you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you stand if you are able. And please remove your caps as we honor our nation with the singing of our national anthem. Please welcome to the ice, Denver Ballard. Oh, see, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, their bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
The teams have been introduced, the anthem has been sung, and now all is left to play at least 60 minutes of hockey between the Athens Rock Lobsters and the Baton Rouge Zydeco.
And let's welcome to the ice for our ceremonial puck drop. First, we can get both of our captains from both teams and join us for our ceremonial puck drop.
Looks like we've got a ceremonial puck drop before we get started.
Folks, please welcome to the ice, Michael
talking about Aro Toivonen, who was a former Monroe Moccasin, got traded to the Baton Rouge Zydeco, so didn't have to move all that far, did the man from Helsinki, Finland. 16 games played with the Snakes. He's logged a couple of assists with the Monroe Moccasins against the Athens Rock Lobsters already this season.
Welcome to Friday Night Hockey in Baton Rouge.
It was very interesting where the Rock Lobsters were kicked out by arena staff from the morning skate. They weren't allowed to skate more than 10 or 15 minutes in the morning skate. We zoom down to the ice. Picard, Mack, Virgili, Kolatarsi, and Shinkarik all out in front of William Lavalliere. 20 minutes on the clock, and we're underway. Baton Rouge Zydeco against the Athens Rock Lobsters. William Lavalliere out of his crease early, rides one off the glass and down. Zidico takes a spill. Kolatarsi scans out, looks behind him, puts it up the boards for Virgili on the far side. Looking for the little touch pass, but he's held up. Good play there by Hunter Alden, who makes a defensive intervention and then goes off for the shift. Zidico looking for a good start to this one. Good handle there by the Finn, Aro Toivonen. Out behind the net is Jake Cox. Rock Lobsters pinned in their own zone here early. Shinkarik takes a big hit. Kolatarsi rings one over to Filip Virgili, who was looking for Brandon Picard. Athens will at least get the ability to change lines. Michael Greco, who made his return to the Athens lineup in the last game, combining with a man who made his return to the lineup, Eric Neiley, with a goal. Jesse Lowell, backhand flipper out to the corner. The net is off its moorings as Lowell took a slide and slipped into the near side post. Face-off will get taken right inside the neutral zone. A little less than a minute and a half gone. Bandurkin kicking at it with Jake Cox on the dot. Whistled in by Devin Maye. Has had a couple of great games back-to-back. Has the Burlington, Ontario native. Had a 3-assist game in the win against the PD Ice Cats on December 27th, and then followed it up with his first professional goal on New Year's Eve against the River Dragons. Eric Neiley looking at the shot from a close distance as Ciolik tried to go short side on the Great Wall of Montreal. Easier said than done, but the Rock Lobsters turn it over in their own zone. A slapper right there on the left side of Lavalliere. Lavalliere able to hug the post and keep this a 0-0 game, but a good start here nevertheless for the Zydeco. Bandurkin from the left wing puts one on net. Coffey will cover. We talked about how it was a very interesting occasion of history repeating itself on New Year's Eve, where the Rock Lobsters, for the second year in a row, went to a shootout on New Year's Eve. And guess who they're playing against today? Ed Coffey, who was in the net for the Mississippi Seawolves on New Year's Eve of 2024, as the Rock Lobsters put 55 shots on him. He stopped 53, but ultimately let 2 in the shootout. The Rock Lobsters were able to get the extra point. Garcia back into the lineup, a really good cutout there at the red line, but now he has to get back on his horse. Taken away there by Miettinen. Jack Johansson helping it back into his own zone to Matt Garcia. And now here's Garrett Milan. Pokes it up the right side looking for Dominic Dumas, who checks into the Milan line. with the absence, the one-game suspension of Malik Johnson for the boarding hit on Kirk Underwood. Miettinen, one of 3 Finns on this Zydeco roster. Alexanian. Johansson takes it away, finds Virgili at the point. But here comes the Zidico and Blake Keller the other way. Driving hard to the net. Think that one took a piece of the post. Little knuckler there on Lavalliere. Matt Garcia stick handles around the referee. A little reverse hit there from Filip Virgili on a Baton Rouge player. Taken away from Matt Garcia by Blake Keller. Keller snaps one in the chest protector of William Lavalliere. We're seeing exactly what we talked about in the open. Some good shot generation early on by the Baton Rouge Zydeco, but unable to convert on these early chances. We'll see if they rue that later on in the matchup. Another face-off here between Gleb Bandurkin and Jake Cox, native of Columbus, Georgia. Carter Shinkarik using his fabulous skating ability. Lukarioff, a one-touch pass over to Bandurkin, who spins out of control. Larwood, not sure if he was trying to center it there over to Dmitry Kuznetsov or if he meant to put one on Lavalliere. Either way, Great Wall of Montreal covers up. Offensive zone face-off here. Cox and Bandurkin will do it again. Carter Shinkarik, right side for Eric Neiley. Incisive pass here from Neiley. Same from Lukarioff to Bandurkin. Best opportunity of the period thus far falls to the Moscow Mule. Lukarioff. Kolatarsi fizzes one. Ed Coffey will cover. Better movement through all 3 zones on that shift from the Athens Rock Lobsters. Lukarioff was there with Bandurkin and Neiley. Lukarioff will stay here on what will be his usual line for the night, Milan and Dumas. Milan slaps one off the boards, a little one-timer. Looking for the top corner was Michael Greco. Here he is again. Came back in the New Year's Eve game after a month layoff. Over the head of the referee, off the glass, picked up, glove down by Michael Greco. Lavalliere having to cover up again. That was Matt Bazarin, who was skating in on Lavalliere there, 69 FPHL games with 5 different teams for Bazarin, a player who is familiar with Garrett Rutledge, having played for him in Carolina as a Thunderbird in 2022 and 23. A decent crowd in numbers here thus far in the Raising Cane's River Center, albeit maybe a bit reserved in the early going. It's a good start for the Zydes. 5-4 shot on goal advantage. Lukarioff, big hit there on Bartlett. Felt more like they just got crossed up than anything. In and out of the glove of Lavalliere as it snapped his way by Narek Alexanian. Lavalliere, one Quebecois making a save on another in Alexanian. Milan, brilliant little move to enter in, but Dominic Dumas thought that Millsy was already in the zone. We go to our first commercial timeout. Stay tuned with us here. It's still a tied game at 0-0. Plenty of action to come.
As a hockey player, my health is everything to me. When I got injured,
I didn't just worry about missing games. I worried about my future in the sport I love. If From the moment I met you and your team at Piedmont Athens Regional, you gave me confidence. Your expertise, your care, your support, it all reassured me from the very start. Because of you, I've been able to recover, rebuild, and get back to playing the sport I love. Can't thank you enough for what you've done for me and my future. Your help means the world to me, and I'll always be grateful for your part in keeping my dream alive. Thanks to Dr. Graff and Piedmont Athens Regional, I get to keep playing the game I love.
Perhaps a bit of a slow start for the Athens Rock Lobsters. Still 14:50 to go in the first period, but we've been somewhat used to seeing slow starts for the Rock Lobsters, and it's paid off for them more times than not. Down 2-0 on the New Year's Eve game to the Columbus River Dragons. Fought back and won in the shootout 6-5. Joe Mack has been so good on the face-off circle in his time as a centerman with the Rock Lobsters. Ed Coffey almost gets caught out where the trapezoid would be. Picard pokes in at it, helped out here by Joe Mack. Joe Mack at the end boards tries to feed it between his legs, cut out by Baton Rouge in their own zone, but they can't get it out. Cola makes the pinch, sent in around the end boards. Filip Virgili scanning, has Picard to his right, instead takes it for himself. Cola Tarsi, great stop at the blue. Picard back to Virgili. Great passage of play between one French-Canadian and a Swede. Filip Virgili made it a sweet end to 2025. Added one to his goal column in the shootout, but now defensive work for the Rock Lobsters to do. Austin Weber steps on the brakes. Centering pass coming from behind the net. Picard helps it on its way. Long dump, but not icing from Joe Mack. Turnover from the Zydeco. Lowell tries to take it hard to the net. Falls out in front of Neiley. That man is absolute nails. Goals in back-to-back games for the man with AHL experience. You know, it's funny, Dominic Dumas took a long look at Eric Neiley today right before the morning skate, what little morning skate Athens had before the game, and said, I know you're getting at least one tonight, Neiley, and it'll be the man from Pennsylvania who lives just 30 minutes away from the Rock Lobster Arena at Akins Ford, who gets us started at 1-0. But it all starts from Jesse Lowell forcing the turnover, going hard to the net, and when you get to the net front, good things happen. Eric Neiley almost catching Coffey out from the half wall. Perhaps Coffey hasn't had his coffee yet. Rock Lobsters have their lead with a little bit more than 6 minutes gone in the first period. Eric Neiley with his 13th of the year. That puts him behind only Garrett Milan. Also point number 30 on the season for Eric Neiley. And that's a man, too, who has missed some time recently. Has dealt with a couple of upper body injuries. But looking no worse for Ware here as he starts the scoring against the Baton Rouge Zydeco. Sent down, sent long, and an icing against Baton Rouge. Face off and get taken back down. Garrett Rutledge keeping this line of Lowell, Bandurkin, and Neiley out. And why not? They have had an excellent week thus far, hoping to keep it going. Neiley almost had a chance to show that sick release once again at the edge of the left circle, but here's Tyler Larwood showing some speed. Fans wanted a tripping call there. Lowell, great feed back to Neiley. Can those two combine once again? It's a great block shot. Sprawled out in front of Neiley. There was the newest Baton Rouge Zydeco member, Aro Toivonen. Garrett Milan finds Bandurkin at the blue. Back over the red line to Shinkarik, who gives it up to Alexanian. Alexanian in the slot, misses wide right. Bandurkin, beautiful move on Alexanian. Off the stick of Milan and sent back out by Ross Bartlett. Carter Shinkarik wheels away from his own left circle, brought down to a knee. I've seen some awkward and weird spills in the early going of this one. Not sure if that says anything about the condition of the ice or what have you. Thought it was strange that saw the Zamboni before warm-ups go out to the ice 2 or 3 different times. Poked ahead by Bartlett. Lavalliere leaves it for Garcia. Takes an awkward bounce. Lavalliere watched it the whole way. Rock Lobsters up 1-0 after the opening goal from Eric Neiley. Eric Neiley, a tremendous competitor, but he won't have a goal much easier than the one he scored in this game. Just dropped right out in front of him after a tremendous drive to the crease by Jesse Lowell. Two teammates formerly facing off here, Alden and Milan. And it's Milan who wins out. Hunter Alden, having one of the great moments of Rock Lobster history, was on the hunt the entire campaign last year for his first goal. Got it on an empty net against the Columbus River Dragons at the Columbus Civic Center. But he's still on the hunt for his first goal since then. A couple of games with the Rock Lobsters and with the Baton Rouge Zydeco ever since. Ciolik snaps one. Pad saved by Lavalliere. Lukaryov tiptoes in. Left circle feed over to Maye, who cut the ice with a pass towards the slot, but through Milan. Nice little toe drag, backhand shot, and into the glove of Lavalliere. Blake Keller with the opportunity to try and level it up. Keller with goals in back-to-back games. Had 9 games this season with the Biloxi Breakers before joining the Zydeco. Zyde still a shot on goal advantage, 7-5. But the Rock Lobsters have the shot that matters, up 1-0 via Eric Neiley. Bandurkin with the face-off draw back at the center of the end boards, lofted high over the head of everybody except Toivonen. Kuznetsov on the right side. Larwood, he's been the closest to scoring thus far in this game, trying to feed Jake Cox, who was unable to direct anything towards Lavalliere. Picked back up by Aro Toivonen, who has a couple of assists against the Athens Rock Lobsters this season as a member of the Monroe Moccasins. Kolatarsi pokes in at it, can't get it away from Larwood. Kolatarsi with a recovery poke check that time. Jake Cox slapped at by Eric Neiley. Baton Rouge have to reset out of their own zone through Nick Catola. Highest scoring D-man on the team with 5 goals and 3 assists. Joe Mack. Off to Brandon Picard. Those two combined in a goal in Columbus. Picard's first of the season. Loose pass from Bartlett. Pass Garcia. 2-on-1 for the Zydeco, and they have their goal. Rock Lobsters led up the 2-on-1, and Ross Bartlett, who funny enough was due for a goal. A very interesting scoring trend here for Bartlett. In the last 6 games, and I think it's 7 games now, he's gone goal, no goal, goal, no goal, goal, no goal, and now it's goal again. Neiley opened the scoring. Bartlett ties it up. Milan looking for a chance to immediately retake the lead, but instead he'll send the Zydeco to a power play. Lukarioff with a great centering feed, but Garrett Milan will go to the box, and the Rock Lobsters will go to their first Leslie Jones Law penalty kill of the night, but that'll come after this commercial break. Stay tuned with us here. We've already got 2 goals in this one, and the scoreline is split 1-1.
Rock Lobster fans, this is Brad Akins. Akins Ford has led the way for years and keeps on growing. From offering the Southeast's largest inventory to being #1 in the nation in Ford truck sales, we're here to serve you. Want to customize your ride? Our Wild Willie's accessories team can make it as unique as you are. Make it legendary. Need service? Our fleet of over a dozen mobile service vans come right to you. Akins Ford and Winder. We really are closer and bigger than you think. Rock Lobsters, let's go.
Having to go on the penalty kill has been one of the Rock Lobsters' poisons as of late. That was shown against the Columbus River Dragons in the New Year's Eve game, but the River Dragons, one of the top teams in the FPHL, the top team in the Continental Division in the power play, the Baton Rouge Zydeco have the worst power play in the FPHL at 12.1%. Rock Lobsters tied for second in the FPHL in shorthanded goals with 6. Milan called 2 minutes for tripping. Sent in around the boards by Kuznetsov. Zidico unable to take the puck with him, and it's sent from the blue line to the Zidico goal line by Daniil Lukarioff. Tied game at 1 apiece, 12 minutes gone in the first period. Zidico trying to set up shop on what is the first power play for either team in this game. Stopped by the skate there of Bartlett, who tied the game up at 1-1. Here's Bartlett looking for another great stick handle centering pass. William Lavalliere makes a big-time save there. Austin Weber trying to put the finishing touches on a great move started by Bartlett. Bartlett sharing a hometown with the Rock Lobsters number 4, Joe Colatarsi, both out of Fort Myers, Florida. Glimpse into the right circle where the Baton Rouge Zydeco win a face-off. Catola, highest scoring D-man on this Baton Rouge team. We'll get the feedback from Weber. Great poke check there from Jesse Lowell. He's already shown his two-way play in this game, and with the assist on the opening goal, that extends the Lowdowns point streak to 11 games, 20 points over that time. Alexanian drives hard in, backhand, forehand, saved with the toenail of Lavalliere. Having a little bit of Monroe reminiscent issues here with the net and its moorings.
Fans, we got tons of cool Zydeco merch. And the merchandise stand, Zydeco, Lavalliere.
Still 26 seconds to go on the Baton Rouge power play. They're going to snap a shot out of it, and Lavalliere's going to snatch that out of midair. Kuznetsov running the point. Thank you to Wandering Weekends. Appreciate the kind words in the chat. Baton Rouge with some good face-off wins on this power play. Not sure if Bartlett faked the shot on purpose or it forced him into a misread. Rock Lobsters are going to successfully kill off the first Baton Rouge power play of the game, but there still might be a goal to come. Larwood is buzzing in Baton Rouge early on. One time towards the net, centering pass. Larwood doesn't get any punctuation on it. Great shift right after the power play from the Zydeco. Long range dump in, but Larwood showing that speed, beating off the icing. Gets crossed up there with Milan. Catola sends it long. Michael Greco from his defensive half wall. Quick exchange with Carter Shinkarik. Joe Mack stops it in its tracks. Centering feed falls back to the man from Michigan. Kolatarsi, good stop there. Snap to shot. Into the right circle. Bandurkin unable to get any mustard on it. Baton Rouge transitioning defense into offense. Joe Mack has some space out in front of him. Lasers one over the bar. Falls favorably for Glukarioff, unselfishly looking for Phil. And Virgili catches Coffee up high, and Coffee catches the puck up high. Line of Dumas, Milan, and Glukarioff. Maye and Kolatarsi, the defensemen. Devin Maye now having 5 points as a Rock Lobster. Unfortunate slip there from Dumas. Will create an opening for the Zydeco. Kolatarsi gets tied up. Falls to Milan. This feels like it's awkward there for Milan to shepherd the puck. And again, we'll ask the boys about the quality of the ice after the game. Garcia. Dumas. Great one-touch pass and a great job by Bandurkin to take it on to his stronger side. Lowell lasers one into the glove of Coffee.
Fans, let's take our final media
We go into the final media timeout of the first period. Baton Rouge Zydeco with 14 shots on net to Athens 8.
At Athens Stonecasting, Don Hill oversees acres of sculptures poured from thousands of molds. Endless possibilities for neighbors who envision unique gardens. Craig Meeks at First American Bank and Trust caught that vision. Together, Don and Craig create solutions that keep the business teeming with new gifts for the garden. Vision. It's one of the core convictions we live by. Learn more about what we stand for at firstamericanishere.com. First American Bank and Trust.
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon your toilet will clog again.
What if it won't flush?
We'll always repair it.
Nobody puts baby in a flooded corner.
Maybe I should still fix it.
You had me at hello. We've got same-day service.
Plumbing completes me.
A look here at the Baton Rouge Zydeco dance cam. Showing off the moves, a little Macarena there. Fans are doing the gritty in the crowd, but it's been a gritty start to this game for the Baton Rouge Zydeco. Doing well thus far in this first period. But a great feed once again. Lowell finds Neiley low in the slot. Neiley gets under it with the backhand, but right at Coffey. Steve Dibbling talking about the Sugar Bowl. Yes, of course, it was a difficult loss to watch as I watched from the hotel room bed, doing my notes. You can't win them all. But the Rock Lobsters looking to start 2026 with a win. Neiley's starting to look for his second goal. He's been troubling Coffey early on. Shots on net for the Rock Lobsters, growing in this first period. Might have to look back at all the games played thus far for the Rock Lobsters, and I think they would show that the first period has been the least efficient, at the very least, period for the Rock Lobsters this season. Blake Keller tries something spectacular, but doesn't come off for him. Jesse Lowell this time gets the beneficial bounce, blazes it over the bar. Here's the lowdown again. Spinning away from Johnson. Keller deking away from Bandurkin. Feeding it up the near boards. Lowell to Shinkarik at the line. Shinkarik just playing a game of keep away as new forwards come on out for the Rock Lobsters. Glukariov, slapper, but most of the stick hit the body of Weber. Bandurkin freeing up possession at the boards. Shinkarik looking for the big hit on Keller. Maye threads it through, looking for Glukariov to have a finishing touch on a backhand at the back door. Toivonen. Hard off the glass from Siolik. There's another case there of just an awkward handle to make. Glukariov with the slight push-off there of Toivonen. And Danny's going to sit for it. That feels like a weak call. Have to imagine that interference is going to be the official's call here. No, it's a trip. All right. Zidico on to their second power play of the game. Glukarioff sits for 2, and Mack wins the faceoff on this Leslie Jones Law penalty kill. Strong, skilled, strategic defense. The Rock Lobsters had that the first time around on their first PK of the night, and that's what Leslie Jones gives you. If you get caught in the cell, make sure you give Leslie Jones a call. Alexanian tiptoes in, has a poke check from Filip Virgili behind him. Kolatarsi going body to body on Larwood in the corner. Larwood has shown his speed in this game. Kolatarsi's going to have to keep a watchful eye on him, and it is Kola who fizzes it out with a backhand back in the neutral ice. Baton Rouge trying to reload. Great poke check there in behind. But I think it's going to be another penalty against the Rock Lobsters. Perhaps not. Not sure what drew the whistle then. Looks like perhaps the net took a slight bobble. So we'll stay 5-on-4 here. Milan with a face-off win, and just another awkward handle there of the puck. Puck pops free for Milan. Sends it off to the right in the hunt for Lowell, who's trying to chase down Kuznetsov. Dropped back for Katola.
1 minute remaining in the first period, 1 minute.
Final 60 seconds of play in this opening period. Tied game at 1 apiece. Zidico here on the power play trying to take an advantage into the first intermission. It's under the stick there of Matt Bazarin, who's not really a player you would think of as a power play piece. But getting some time on the man advantage here. Forces a turnover on Milan. Kuznetsov dekes out a couple of crustaceans. Gets the shot off, but right into Milan. Whistle down by Carter Shinkarik. Whistle back by Ed Coffey. Shinkarik forcing a spill there on Alexanian. And the Rock Lobsters are back at even strength. Blocker save from distance on Alexanian, who turned with it at the blue line. Is there one last shot in this one? Doesn't appear to be the case. Glukarioff took it downhill into the offensive zone, but the first period will finish with a 1-1 scoreline. Eric Neiley had it fall right out in front of him for one of the easiest goals that the veteran will score. Took the lead at 1-0, but the Zydeco were able to scratch one back on a 2-on-1, finished off by Ross Bartlett. His alternating games with a goal continues for the 7th straight game. Talked to Garrett Rutledge right before New Year's Eve, and he talked us through all different kinds of subjects in this week's episode of Coach's Corner. Hope you enjoy it. Matchim Rad, me the host, with our Rock Lobster head coach, Garrett Rutledge. Welcome back to Coach's Corner, Crustacean Nation. It's your inside look to everything happening on and off the ice for the Athens Rock Lobsters. At the time of recording, the team is coming off a split home-and-home series with the PD Ice Cats, and they're heading into a 3-game week. Columbus River Dragons on New Year's Eve before getting on the bus to take on the Baton Rouge Zydeco for the first time this season in Louisiana. Matchim Rad joined by head coach Garrett Rutledge. And Coach Rutz, last weekend started with a Boxing Day trip to Florence that ended in a 4-3 loss. First things first, I want to ask about what the preparation looked like. Because of injuries over the past few weeks, there were only 8 forwards available for both games against PD. What does practice look like when you know that you're forced to be a little bit more free form with your lines?
Yeah, it's just one of those things. It's kind of the next guy up mentality. You got to be able to adjust. You don't really practice a whole lot, if I'm being honest. It's kind of just on the ice for 20 minutes, 25 minutes, touch on some things, let the guys get sweat on and save their energy for the game kind of thing. So, yeah, we've been shorthanded lately, but again, like I've reiterated, it's next guy up mentality. So people are going to get opportunities on the power play and the penalty kill and showcase their skills. So when some of the bigger guys are out of the lineup, we got to look into the depth of our roster, which I think has been unreal. I was proud of the guys on Friday night there. Or was that Thursday night? Friday night, right? Friday night was the game in PD, which I thought we battled right to the very end. Again, we had lots of chances. Gleb hit the goal post. Unfortunate call, like that 5-minute major was unfortunate. Again, they didn't even call a hit from behind. So it should have been, the explanation was, yeah, they screwed up. So they should have been offsetting fight for Phil and 5-minute, whatever they called on Powell, and then a 5-minute fight or a hit from behind on Dumas there. So at best, we should have had a 2-minute power play. So it was unfortunate they scored 2 goals, but credit to the guys again, though. They just keep battling through. Like, again, they make it exciting. Doesn't matter what happens in the game. I think our players stay the course, and I'm pretty proud of where our group is, to be honest with you. I know at the end of the game there, we had the goalie pulled, and I think I looked down and there was 2 guys sitting in front of me waiting to go. So it was like, you see our guys out there battling, and every once in a while they might make a mistake, but that's probably because they've been on the ice so long that they're so tired that it's bound to happen. But credit to our guys, a resilient group, and then to come in late like that on probably got in like 3 a.m. and then put on the show they did Saturday night. I'm pretty proud of our group.
The Rock Lobsters answer after the opening goal from Houston Wilson with a run of 3 unanswered tallies. I think a lot of teams would have been deflated when that first goal went in, especially with the kind of injury situation that we're in. But they immediately went to work, and it's tied up by Carter Shinkarik. Tell me about how invaluable a player like Shinks has been in this injury funk for the team with his versatility and his stamina.
Yeah, well, he's got the intangibles of a great hockey player. He plays up front. He plays the back end. He plays in every situation we can ask him to. He carries the Rock Lobster logo with the utmost respect. He wears the captain for a reason. I don't think I need to go into much more than that, really. Like, he does everything you need him to do, as you would call him. He's Captain Fantastic, isn't he? So it's pretty much for his nickname. That's what he is. So he's an all-hands-on guy. On deck type of guy. Like, again, he plays through injuries. He does anything for the Rock Lobsters, anything for the community, the fan base. He's usually the ringleader. And credit to him and some other guys in his hockey team that's built us to where we are as the organization here.
No doubt he's had a huge part in where the team is over the past 2 seasons. Speaking of versatility, though, Dominic Dumas made it 2-1 right before the first intermission. It was his first with the team, and yeah, maybe it was a fortuitous bounce, but it also felt like a worthy reward with him needed as a defenseman a few weeks ago, and now he's an important depth contributor that allows us to have those 8 forwards that we've been playing with. What have your conversations with Doomer been like in this whirlwind month for him?
Dumas is one of those guys, he'll do anything for the hockey team. Anything he needs to do whenever he's called upon, he's ready to go. He's standing on business all the time. That's his catchphrase. I think he picked that up when he was in Carolina with one of the guys there.
My New Year's resolution is to stand on business.
So he uses that quite a bit, and you just got to stand on business, right? So, yeah, Doomer was good. Then that 2-on-1, like, again, yeah, this is a little bit of a bounce, but again, he taps the brakes a little bit. Stuff we work on, skills and drills, changing the angle of the shot and stuff. Goalies are leaning for the pass, and obviously it goes in the net. But when you're doing the right things on the ice, you're going to get rewarded, and that starts with being heavy, stopping the net front. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's been a great joy to coach. He's been a pleasure, and like I said, it's can't be happier for him having success when called upon, with having some guys down and open up a little bit of ice time for him.
I know you've kind of already touched on it. Filip Virgili had an eventful second period. He scored a goal and then drops the gloves with Jordan Popoff after what many would think is a boarding hit from Popoff on Dom Dumas. I know you've already touched on it, but that's the whole reason that Phil drops the gloves. And yet it's given as a game misconduct and Phil's thrown out for fighting after the original altercation. I know there's an illegal check to the head from Chance Adrian, which I guess is what they're considering that original altercation, but it seems very bang bang from when Phil drops the gloves to right after the hit happens. Was any of this explained to you at all?
Yeah, during the play, he finally come over and he talked to me. He said the one play with Powell and Adrian and the check to the head, or however that played out, kind of took his vision away. The other referee, they said they didn't see the hit from behind, and I was like, well, that's kind of what all started it. But at the end of the day, they own their mistake at the end of it. They were like, yeah, they looked at it, the replay and stuff, and said, yeah, they just missed it. But long story short, it's cost us 2 goals kind of thing, and kind of turned the tide of the game. So, but with that being said, like, again, our guys are going to stick up for themselves. Our hockey team's a tight-knit group. At some point, all these hits from behind that keep coming from different teams, you got to stand up for yourself as a team. That's kind of the on the bench. Like, you can't worry about power plays. You can't worry about, oh, we'll get them back. No, you need to stick up for your hockey team. You need to have the intestinal fortitude as a man and eventually take care of business. Like, again, we're not going to let that happen against. Eventually someone's going to get seriously hurt, and we already have one guy seriously hurt. So Dustin's basically, with Dustin being hit, we got to stay the course, and eventually you got to push back and just take care of business. So again, we're going to keep working hard. We're going to kill penalties off. We're going to score goals, and we're going to win hockey games. And if that's going to be a little bit of bumps along the road and we got to fight back a little bit or show what the Athens Rock Lobster are about, we're gonna do that.
Phil having had a good game, and then the team now being reduced to 7 forwards after his ejection. Do you think it was just, with this team, it feels like there's never too much to overcome for them, but do you feel like it was just too much and the boys ran out of steam with how much they had to give on the ice?
No, I think it was a product of, like, we made a couple turnovers, made a couple mistakes, and maybe, yeah, we're a little bit shorthanded, but I think the game was still there to win. I think I've said this before a couple times now, never turn your TV off or YouTube off before the Rock Lobsters are done here, because we can score quick, we can score fast, and the boys are going to give her right to the very end. Like, is it one of those games that I thought Lavi had a real good game? Is there a couple that he probably wanted back? Yeah, absolutely. But at the end of the day, those are the ebbs and flows of hockey, the ups and downs. Sometimes you're going to get those, sometimes you're not. But we had lots of chances to score at the end of the day. You know what I mean? We just their goalie played well. I think, again, they're a desperate hockey team over there when they were 8-game losing streak or whatever they were. So it's one of those things. You just move on. It builds character. It helps our team out, but it also shows our team that we can hang with anybody in this league. It doesn't matter if we have 2 lines in 6D or 2 lines in 4D. You know what I mean? So, again, I was proud of the boys, and again, late travel in and seeing the response on Saturday, it was great.
The team had some power play opportunities late on with a couple of delay of games, and we had emptied the net to try and capitalize. You had mentioned something last week about how there has been a ton of opportunities to practice with an empty net in competitive scenarios. Is that a scenario that translates well to trying it out in practice, or is it difficult to kind of recreate that kind of pressure?
Yeah, typically I like to have that all set in practice. So you practice it, you have it all set, your guys kind of brought in, you show them what we want done here, what our ideas and our focus. So when you do call a timeout, they come over to the bench, and the guys that need to be relied on to be on the ice, maybe if they logged a shift or two, that they know exactly what's going on. They can come over and just grab a drink of water, clear their mind, take a deep breath, and everybody knows what they're doing. So being organized as a coach on that front is one of the strategies you have, kind of being prepared to have the goalie out. You also, like, having that little of guys on the bench, all like right away, like 2 guys that's going to be on the ice, Milan and Shinks, right? So if you're going to pull the goalie, you start looking at the clock. If it's 3-minute mark, 4-minute mark, you start maybe bringing Shinks in, Milan, sitting them down, maybe missing 1 or 2 shifts. So you get into that 2-minute range. Now you start playing Milan. So you balance your lines off where guys are going out on the ice at certain times. So that way you can put them out for, like, say you pull the goalie at 2 minutes, you can play that 40-second shift, hopefully get a whistle, and then call a timeout. They get another break, and they can finish the game on there. So there's a strategy within the strategy of coaching when doing that. When you have numbers on the bench kind of thing. But all of our guys were ready to go. They were detailed. They were ready. We had some chances to score with the goalie out. Again, we just fell a little bit short. Sometimes they fall in the net, sometimes they don't. But like I said, I couldn't fault the boys for their effort, especially coming off Christmas and like a little bit of distractions. Like, again, we didn't skate a whole lot the week prior coming up to that, just with Christmas. And I felt like the boys needed a reset to stay together. Weather was nice here, so they got to spend some time together and hang out by the pool and do what I guess young adults do, if you know what I mean. So, but again, for the response, I was pretty happy with our play for the most part.
You know, you talk about kind of the almost break time, the downtime that the boys have had over this past week to rest and relax. But, you know, the boys have shown incredible fortitude. I'm sure a lot of them have been tired. I'm sure a lot of them have their own knocks and bruises. And I'm sure there were aspects of those two losses that felt frustrating, an uphill battle that felt maybe at some points out of their control. Has there been anything that you felt like you needed to do in your conversations and in your coaching during the week to manage their outlook?
No, I think we just, like, again, we teach through video around here. We show things, our habits of what to do, what not to do, and maybe why we're not having success, and maybe why a couple goals have went in on us. Maybe we've lacked in a detail somewhere net front. Like, again, our big picture was this week in practice and leading up to that was net front presence. I felt like we weren't hard enough in front. We weren't getting enough traffic. We were kind of outside looking in, trying to score too many tap in highlight reel goals. We needed to get back greasy. And again, you see that Saturday night. Prime example is Dumas in front, Milan, second, third chances in front there. That's what wins hockey games in this league. So, yeah, it's just, you got to stay the course with the guys. You're going to go through a little bit of tough times in hockey. It's what it is. It's not easy to win every single night. We've had success. Lucky for us that we've had great success at the beginning of the year, leading up to this, making us able to maybe drop one or two games. And it gives the boys a little bit of reality check that every single night you need to bring it. And your compete level and your details and your preparation all come into play here.
As you said, different net front presence on Saturday night. The team was really stuck in the same scenario as they were the night before in Florence, but a different result, a 3-1 win for the Rock Lobsters and an absolutely electrifying crowd. Is that a perfect example of just how much the fans can really give the boys the extra boost they need to overcome the kind of adversity that they've been going through over the past couple of weeks?
Yeah, it gives you that kind of six-man energy, I guess. Like, even down when you're on the bench level, like, it's loud in our rink. Like, definitely it's louder rink that I've been in. The fan base is pretty rowdy, and you see the difference in our play for sure. It can give you a lot of adrenaline to keep going, to find that extra little gear here. So it's credit to the Akins Ford Arena, making it feel like home for us. And definitely the boys want to put on a show, and we don't want to be those guys that let the fans down. So we appreciate them coming out. And obviously, you see the results. So it was great.
Carter McPhail returned from his loan and was excellent. 34 saves on 35 shots. And, of course, his usual confident self. How much do you think his call up to the coast maybe even gave him an extra boost in his body language?
Yeah, I think being around those type of shooters, when you go up each level, it gets smaller and smaller, and the details and how they compete as pros, working out after their practices and all that kind of stuff creates, I guess, like that mindset of how good you can be and where you want to get to. So when you come back down, you're going to have that swagger. You're going to have that hunger to get back up there and make sure you stick up there. So, again, Carter's one of those guys that he's happy-go-lucky. He wants the Rock Lobsters to win every single game, and he wants to do anything he can to make us win. And obviously when he goes to Greenville, he wants to do the same thing. He brings that, I guess, that luxury to a hockey team, that face. When you look back there, you know he's going to be there kicking in the pipes for you, and you know he's going to have our back when we need him. So he gives us that big save, and Lavi's done that for us too. It's been great. We've had a great tandem. I think our players are very relaxed when both those guys are in there. They know that they're going to give us their best effort night in, night out for us. So it's one thing we don't got to worry about here in Athens.
It looks like Carter McPhail has been called back up with Greenville and that he'll be with the Swamp Rabbits on New Year's Eve. It also coincides with Darcy Kemper returning to practice, but not being cleared to play yet for the Los Angeles Kings. With Greenville being the Kings affiliate, I know it's something you touched on last week. How much is McPhail's future tied to Kemper's return to play.
Yeah, definitely. I would say so. I don't know exactly how that works, but I know Team Canada at the World Junior, Carter George is a guy that played in the OHL. He's in the, I think he plays for Ontario too, in the American Hockey League. So he's away with Team Canada right now too. So again, there's 2 goalies out of their system. We just play it day by day. When you're a coach, you kind of expect these call-ups. Again, we're a good hockey program. Of course, teams are going to want to use our players that are good players, and you just you coach what's given to you here. So it's all hands on deck. But like I said, he'll probably be back sooner than later. But again, until then, Lavi will take the reins, and we're all good.
Daniil Glukaryov had the first star performance on Saturday night's win. We've seen how good his shot is, of course, but it feels like his real value is in how heavy he is on the puck. We saw that result in Shinks' goal on Friday. When he puts his head down and protects the puck, it feels impossible to shake him off of possession. Is he somebody that you single out to the rest of the boys to get to the net front when he enters the zone? Because it feels like he's so adept at causing chaos in the crease.
Yeah, Danny's a guy that he will put his head down and go to the net. He's for sure not afraid to go into the dirty areas, into the play. So he's always making a play. He's willing to go to those areas to score goals, and then he uses his shot. He uses his frame, his strength. He also looks like an absolute weapon on the ice. Like he's got that look to him that you don't want to mess with. He's that type of guy. So he gets a little bit of space, I think, just as he carries himself. He's very silent on the ice. And those kind of silent guys we all know, they're like, you kind of don't know what to grasp with him when there's a scrum and stuff. He's just staring into the back of your soul, basically, and you don't know quite what he's thinking, to be honest with you. So I think he gets a little bit of respect throughout the league, and then obviously you see his work ethic and his skill, and he can put in the back of that on you.
3 primary assists on the night for Devin Maye. Real scoreline that matters in the FPHL right now. The Rock Lobsters tied 1 apiece with the Baton Rouge Zydeco. But there are some interesting scorelines around the FPHL as we speak. Right now, the Indiana Sentinels up 3-1 against the Port Huron Prowlers in Michigan. PD Ice Cats up 3-1 as they look for the sweep against the Danbury Hat Tricks. Watertown Wolves, they're down once again to the Binghamton Black Bears, but maybe some chance of a comeback there. They're only down 3-1. Twin City Thunderbirds up 3-1 against the Blue Ridge Bobcats at home. The Monroe Moccasins right now having a barn burner with the Columbus River Dragons in the Snake Pit. Slight edge for the Continental Division leaders at 4-3. The Luxie Breakers looking for a win at the bottom of the FPHL standings, but they are up 2-1 in the second against the Topeka Scarecrows.
Are you ready for second period?
This broadcast is brought to you by Thornton Brothers, your one-stop source for janitorial, safety, and packaging solutions. From restroom soap and protective eyewear to butcher paper and more, Thornton Brothers. They've got you covered. Really what Athens needs to try and do in the second period is limit the amount of shots that William Lavalliere has seen in this game thus far. He's already made 13 saves through the first 20 minutes. Rock Lobsters were able to get the lead in the early going through Eric Neiley's opening tally. It led to his 30th point of the season, but Ross Bartlett was able to answer back, converting on a 2-on-1. So we go into the second period level at 1 apiece. Both power plays that have happened in this game both belong to the Baton Rouge Zydeco. And the Rock Lobsters might not be too worried about that. We've talked about how Baton Rouge has the lowest power play clip in the FPHL, but in terms of your own shot generation, the Rock Lobsters don't want to put themselves shorthanded too much. But again, the first period has been commonly the slowest one for Athens this season. Second has been very, very good, and third period has been amazing. 20 more minutes here in the middle frame, and Joe Mack wins yet another draw. Shinkarik cuts the ice up to his best friend, Filip Virgili, then sweeps it in his own direction, backhands it back toward Phil. Phil doesn't get a touch on it. Instead, it stops at the skate of Joe Colatarsi, who pops one in. Brandon Picard, corner-to-corner stuff. Mack, backhand sweeper over to Colatarsi, never made it to him. Cut out there by Blake Keller. Miettinen. Puck pinballing all around. Carter Shinkarik having to get on his horse. Joe Colatarsi with a stop of the glove. He may not be a goaltender, but that's a great glove intervention from Joe Colatarsi. And here he is again. Takes a hard bounce at the goal line and falls to the boards. Zydeco take it away. Baton Rouge skating with a lot of energy right now. Danil Glukaryov. Good touch to take it into his path. Goes forehand, backhand. Didn't miss by much. Overskated by Maye, but Milan saves it at the point. Glukaryov back to Maye. Strong shot, stopped by Coffey. Cox. Took his nets off back to Cox. Took a piece of Greco, sticking it into the safety netting. First stoppage of play. Comes with a little bit more than a minute and a half gone. Just one shot on net so far in the period, belonging to the Rock Lobsters, as Maye forced the save out of Coffey. Nice play out of the face-off. Stops with the shot from Ford. Stephen Ford, 2 games played with the Rock Lobsters. Played in the first ever home game at Akins Ford Arena. Happened in December of 2024. Now we're in 2026. Man, has a lot happened. Greco, playmaking out of the right circle, goes hash marks to the slot for Garrett Milan. Beautiful bit of stick handling there for Milan, but it pops off the stick of Glukaryov, who has it back in the Rock Lobsters' good graces. Greco up ahead for Dumas, got a touch but nothing more. Chopped ahead by Ilnur Madyarov. Clever backhand feed from the Baton Rouge goal scorer Bartlett. Here's Eric Neiley, the Athens goal scorer. Gets pushed away from him, back in the neutral zone, but whisked back around by Lowell. Got through Neiley. Matt Garcia swinging in at Austin Weber. Eric Neiley, great defensive play there on Bartlett. Johansson, loose touch of the puck. You see that big gap in the corner glass. It's something that we talked about at morning skate, and it just feels like a huge piece of void space between the 2 panes of glass as we see a hit there on Lowell. Johansson through his own crease. Bolt bends but doesn't break. Takes a spill in the Baton Rouge zone. But Brandon Picard with the back check. Jack Johansson into the glove of Coffey. So stronger showing from the Rock Lobsters over the past couple of minutes in this second period. Shot on goal apiece between the 2 teams. Virgili, Mack, and Picard. Joe Colatarsi stings the shins of Larwood in front of him. Great forced turnover by Athens in the Baton Rouge zone. Joe Mack tried to take it onto the backhand. Somewhat of a hopeful pass, might spring into a 2-on-1 in the other direction. That's a bar down beauty from Baton Rouge. Dmitry Kuznetsov, a former 34 goal scorer in this league with the Danbury Hat Tricks, who he won an FPHL championship with back in 2023. That's just goal number 9 of the season, but he won't care. It gives the Zydeco the lead against one of the best teams in the Continental. PA system has struggled tonight. Greco loses an edge. Might be an opening for Alexanian. Long range pass, and Neil Glukaryov might get there. Beautiful effort from the Russian rifle to shoot out like a bullet over the blue and get to the boards with the puck. Dumas there, now trying to wriggle out of a sticky situation. Centers it, but not a lot of mustard on that one. Rock Lobsters playing from behind, something that they're very comfortable in doing. Dumas on the right wing. Carter Shinkarik rises above Coffey. Rock Lobsters looking for a tip out in front on the shot initiated by Devin Maillet. Big slapper from Carter Shinkarik, and it's all the way in. Looks like Dominic Dumas is going to lead the line here. So much traffic out in front that Shinkarik shot into that even I didn't see it tickle the twine. An immediate answer from the Rock Lobsters.
Scoring Rock Lobsters at 5:18 of the second period, number 92,
Dominic Dumas, his second of the season. Shinkarik and Milan on the assists. Dominic Dumas having scored his first in Florence, South Carolina against the PD Ice Cats. Zydeco looking to snatch back the lead, but it spins around the boards. Athens was down, but not for long. Jesse Lowell with a poke at the red line, can't take it with him. Colatarsi gets smashed in what I think is that dangerous area. Getting under the shot was Mietinen. Lowell, Neiley kind of creeping to the back post, but it skips out of play. Neiley getting pushed and shoved in the corner right outside your screen. We go to immediate timeout, the first of the second period. A couple of goals, one apiece for the two teams. Baton Rouge strike, but Dominic Dumas tips one in to tie it back.
Since we opened in 1968, we've taken pride in our professional staff. Unparalleled customer service is our legacy. Experience the best, skilled hands and friendly faces. At Stanfield Air Systems, satisfaction is not just a guarantee, it's our tradition. Schedule online at stanfieldair.com.
Honey, the sink is overflowing!
Okay, I'll call a plumber.
Need a plumber? Need a pro? When you need a plumber, call a pro. Plumber Pro.
Tied game at 2 apiece. A couple of goals per period. And the second, it was Dmitry Kuznetsov, who took the Zydeco's first lead at 2-1, but an immediate answer back from Dominic Dumas on a tip in from Carter Shinkaric's shot. Megan Vineyard asking for the combination Daniil Glukaryov, Gleb, Bandurkin, Lobster Tails. I've got to ask them to see how comfortable they'd be with that. Remember, English not their first language. There's that sick release from Neiley once again. Fell back to him, backhands it, gets stopped by bodies out in front. Maye takes it off the boards. Backhand pass back and puts Jack Johansson in a bit of uncomfortable situation, but JoJo deals with it. Alita asking if we're having fried chicken here in the Canes Center, the Raising Canes Center. Personally, I like farm burger better. Maye skips one. Right wing to far corner. Back around the boards. Falls to the Burlington, Ontario native. Bandurkin using his body well to deprive Larwood of a touch of the puck. Big step up there from Picard, who lays the body on a Zydeco player. Bandurkin pirouetting like the Russian ballet artist he is. Gets the pass back to the blue line for Johansson. Bandurkin thought Johansson was there. The Moscow Mule coming off of a 2-goal performance. 2 very important goals as well in the shootout win against the Columbus River Dragons. Virgili gets a piece. The shootout winner on New Year's Eve, just as he was so many times last season for the Rock Lobsters. Joe Mack looking for an option. Backhanded by Shinkaric. Loose puck to Kolatarsi. Centering effort off the boards. Shinkaric keeps it in. Picard looking to slap it down off the ice for a deflection, but it's finally poked out of the offensive zone for the Rock Lobsters. Zidico with a good defensive play. Mack, beautiful feed. Glukaryov to Kolatarsi. Back to Glukaryov. Mack trying to shove it in on the other side. Kolatarsi whistles one in. Joe Kolatarsi, a bit of everywhere on the ice in the first half of this game. Brilliant passing all around. Virgili looks up to the sky as he wanted more on that shot. My good friend Jesus Martinez, and one of the first ever participants, really, of the Rock Lobster chat, with a great point. If you haven't already, make sure you like the stream. Subscribe to play a part in our world-famous chat that Jesus has been a part of since the very beginning. And ring the bell to stay notified of all future Rock Lobster content. That means live broadcasts, lobster tail player interviews, coaches' corners, highlights. Maye, Glukaryov at the half wall. It's a great cross ice pass toward the back door for Johansson. Look Johansson in the eyes on the bus on the way to the arena. We were stopped at Starbucks, and I said, you're scoring one tonight. So if you're wondering if JoJo gets his first as a Rock Lobster tonight, why I get so excited, it's not just because a great guy scored a great goal. It's because I willed it into existence, JoJo. Just kidding, can't take credit for that. Jack Johansson, great start to his Rock Lobster career. He's really helped bolster the blue line since coming in, a big body, but that one gets past a New Hampshire native. Speeding back to deprive the Zydeco of a clear 2-on-1 opportunity. Say that 5 times fast. Skipping stone, Lavalliere pushes it away with the right pad. Milan bursting through, finds Glukaryov in the slot. Block shot from Baton Rouge. Here's Milan again. Michael Greco fresh out on the sheet. Lukarioff sifting through like a sieve through sand. Michael Greco into traffic. Baton Rouge will opt to dump and change. Michael Greco to Milan, tiptoes in. Michael Greco in the slot, able to spin away from pressure. Jesse Lowell, the furthest Rock Lobster back. Larwood out in front. William Lavalliere was beaten, but it's put off the post, and the net is off once again. Back to the commercial timeout. So close for Larwood, who's been an amazing player thus far in this game, but we've reached the halfway mark, and we're tied at 2 apiece. Nothing to separate with a little about 30 minutes left to play in this matchup. Stay tuned on the Athens Rock Lobster Network.
When you're the leader, disaster cleanup and restoration, how do you make like it never even happened happen? Fire it up, Randy! By being prepared for anything. Whatever comes your way, there's a pro for that.
Serve Pro, like it never even happened.
Every business owner who's built a business wonders about their company's legacy. What's the path forward after they decide to take a step back? At the heart of every succession plan is a vision that safeguards hard-earned success. This isn't just paperwork. It's your roadmap, guiding a business during a change in ownership and detailing how ownership transitions and key financial decisions unfold. This instills a profound sense of pride, belonging, innovation, and commitment, ensuring a stable future for the company and a rewarding exit for you. Let's forge that path together.
It's been a bit of an issue lately. We've seen more than a few breakaways or 2-on-1s against the Rock Lobsters lately. Definitely something that needs to be figured out, but William Lavalliere was able to put Larwood off enough. Felt like he had the Great Wall of Montreal beaten, but put the shot off the post instead. Unrelated, I love this song. One of Michael Jackson's best, I think. Jesse Lowell able to shepherd it. Or is he? Taken away by the Zidico. Michael Greco forces the whistle for the icing. Face-off gets taken back down. Rock Lobsters not really getting a chance also. Something to consider the context. Not really getting a chance to practice at morning skate today. An awkward interaction where the Rock Lobsters have 10 minutes on the ice as Maye tests coffee off the pad. Rock Lobsters weren't really allowed to have a morning skate, told after 10 minutes that they would have to vacate the ice without much explanation. Needless to say that fired Coach Rutledge and the Rock Lobsters up. Bandurkin looking for the lowdown at the back door. Jesse Lowell again having extended his point streak to 11 games. Tyler Larwood again. Spills dangerously after contact with Michael Greco. But he's back up. A clean hit nevertheless. Lavalliere stops it with a stick. Maya can't clear it out. Centering pass. Once again, net off its moorings, and I know it frustrates the home fans. It seems strange to think that it doesn't frustrate Lavalliere too, that every time he pushes off, the post, which is something that you do as a goaltender, that the net's not going to come off. Larry asking, how does that happen? You know, I don't really have a good answer to that question for you. It definitely left a lot of us perplexed as well. And what I think I can say is that I don't blame the Baton Rouge Zydeco for the situation, as there's another shot that's just a whisker wide of the post. Bandurkin with a takeaway. I think it's much more about the building, the Raising Cane's River Center, not communicating well enough to figure out what the logistics were. Michael Greco. William Lavalliere, head on a swivel as it comes off of his pad. Filip Virgili. Back poke to Jack Johansson, and it's out of play. New personnel will come out for both teams. CSX asking if there's any great local restaurants he should go to. I could recommend Sea Bear. I could recommend Farm Burger. And one of my personal favorites that isn't a sponsor, Cali and Tito's. Oh, if you love a Cuban steak sandwich as much as I do, it's just a great, great food spot. Puck pinballing around to the left of Lavalliere. Filip Virgili just about gets it away from Austin Weber. Ty Benton, are both teams able to get equal practice time? Ideally, yes, but we watched the Baton Rouge Zydeco practice for quite some time. Rock Lobsters got maybe 10 minutes. Zydeco got probably at least an hour. Driven in by Keller. Shinkarik just about gets it away from Weber. Joe Mack enters with Picard. Under the stick of Shinkarik. Filip Virgili getting one in on Stephen Ford there. Dangerous play from Coffey. Would have been a tremendous goal from Joe Mack to spin with it on the backhand. Here's another 2-on-1. Garcia, the furthest back. It's off the post. William Lavalliere will wish that the post was his New Year's Eve kiss. Baton Rouge Zydeco fans believing that they had retaken the lead, and then Glukariov stings the mid of Coffey in the other direction. Just another 2-on-1 developing for the Baton Rouge Zydeco. Got over the glove of Lavalliere, but not in off the post. Scoreline stays 2-2. Rock Lobsters just about keep it in via Milan. Glukariov up ahead. Sought out by Dumas. Here is Dumas, scoring his second goal of the season to tie it back up at 2 apiece. That's not a good hit. And the Rock Lobsters will have their first power play out of it. Devin Maye drops the gloves and quickly wrestles his victim down to the ground. Maye with some choice words as he gets in the face. Still trying to see who it was that was brought down by Maye there, who initiated the hit on Dominic Dumas.
Let's make some noise in here, Zidico Nation!
See if we have any answers here on the Federal Hockey website. I was trying to attend to someone saying that the stream was frozen. I want to make sure that there was no technical issues there. We'll see if we can get an answer too of who initiated the hit there on Dom Dumas, and then took the quick beating from Devin Maye. I do believe it was Ciolik who wears number 3 for the Zydeco. Both teams waiting for answers. Tied up at nearly every way possible. 2 apiece in goals and 21 shots for both teams. Question in the chat: what's a better song, Eye of the Tiger or Living on a Prayer? I think Eye of the Tiger is easy to say that is a better song than Living on a Prayer. Larry, I don't think they're exactly reviewing anything. I think it's just, and if they are, it's just the severity of the hit, I think, if anything. Everything else was pretty clear cut. But I think they're just trying to iron out exactly what penalties are going to be given. Baton Rouge Zydeco, named after the famous type of music, genre of music. But how many of you didn't know that that's what it was, out of curiosity? Let me know in the chat. Skaters coming back out on the ice. We'll see how much there will be a piece. Maye called for 5 minutes for fighting. Looks like the Rock Lobsters are going to have a power play here. Ciolik called for fighting as well. It was a 2-minute minor for boarding. Rock Lobsters on the power play. And while the power play hasn't been great for the Zydeco this season, the penalty kill has been serviceable, ranking 8th in the FPHL on 14 teams. Neiley steps on the brakes and U-turns. Playmaking once again from the slot, looking for Lowell to tip one past Coffey. Shinkarik goes coast to coast with it, finds Neiley where he likes to be best, at the half wall, making plays. Here he is again. Neiley steps on through, finds Milan behind him. Shinkarik tiptoeing towards the slot, back towards the right hash marks. Neiley left circle, finds Shinkarik. Coffey saves it up high. Bandurkin with some contact in the slot, but would have wanted another bite at that one. Milan meandering through, comes off of his stick, loses a handle. Shinkarik, quick exchange with Picard. Snaps a shot into a Baton Rouge stick. Filip Virgili shimmies and shakes, trying to create an opening. Milan, left hash mark pass, drop banker to Carter Shinkarik. And it's cleared out by the Zydeco. Might be more than that. Jake Cox picks it up in the right circle, pokes it 5-hole, shorthanded goal, makes it Baton Rouge 3, Rock Lobsters 2. Jake Cox going all the way to coffee to celebrate with his netminder. Rock Lobsters have the deadlock broken while they're on the power play. Fifth shorthanded goal allowed by the Rock Lobsters this year, fourth scored by the Zidico.
Assist goes to number 96, Tyler. That's a Zidico short-handed goal, 34 from 96 at 50.
Lavalliere gloves it from distance. Might be one last rush here, especially with a speedy Glukariov on the puck.
That's a Wilson Warehouse penalty kill, young Zidico.
Trying to create another break as he's fresh out of the box was Bartlett, serving the penalty on the board from Ciolik. Glove down by Glukariov. Mack looking back for the Russian rifle. Bartlett gets through Greco. Bartlett looking like he got hit with something up high. And Bartlett has stayed down at the Baton Rouge offensive point. Taking another look. Taking a look at the replay on my end. I mean, obviously there's blood on the ice, so something happened. But difficult to see what contact is made unless it happens right before the shot enters. If any contact came from the Rock Lobsters, it would have been from Michael Greco on Bartlett. Referees getting together. None of them put their arm up when the exchange happened. An official review is in progress here. And I think they're only going to have the look that I have.
Look at that up-close shot. That is one glorious beard. Let's hear it for him, fans. He just won a bottle of green, gold bearded beard oil. It's the good stuff. Take it. It's okay. There you go. Hey, Brandon.
And I don't know exactly what would be reviewable.
The beard. Congratulations, my man. All right, folks. How you doing tonight, fans? How you
I've never seen a high stick reviewed. Baton Rouge having the lead at 3-2. Having scored a shorthanded goal on the Rock Lobster power play. still interested to know exactly what is being reviewed.
In the penalty box for the Athens Rock Lobsters, serving a 4-minute double minor for high sticking, number 98, Michael Greco.
Michael Greco has been assessed a 4-minute double minor for high sticking, but is that what was reviewed? I've never once seen a high stick reviewed. Michael Greco is being sent in the box. He's letting his thoughts be known to the lead official. Four-minute power play for the Baton Rouge Zydeco starts right here and right now. But they'll have to play out of their own zone, out of their face-off win. The FPHL is now under NHL rules when it comes to what is reviewable and what isn't. And in the NHL, you can't review a high-sticking minor or double minor. It'll tip out in front. Somehow it stays out, but for how long? Lowell sends it down near 200 feet. Good move from Alex Sandian at the red line, who then spins one in. Hunter Alden to Jake Cox, who scored to take the lead at 3-2 on the shorthand. Looking to do it on the special teams again. Lavalliere catches a deflection up high off the stick of Alex Sandian. And you'd be able to rewind in your stream and see the same view that I did of the altercation. And I just don't know how it could be confirmed that it was a high stick. Joe Mack. The Rock Lobsters get it done on the shorthand themselves. .80 seconds to go in the middle frame. Nice little drive to the net by Alex Sandian. All that was missing was the finish. But he might get one here. Toe drag onto the backhand and into the glove of Lavalliere. Minute and 10 left, and half of Michael Greco's double minor still to serve. Rock Lobsters on the Leslie Jones Law penalty kill. Hunter Alden. High slot shot. Took a deflection off a Rock Lobster player. Brandon Picard can't direct it towards Milan. Rock Lobsters with three forwards and Carter Shinkarik on this penalty kill. And Carter Shinkarik as big of a flex player really as you can find. Of course, Dominic Dumas also on the PK, who has played as both a defenseman and a forward this year. Playmaking at the goal line are Baton Rouge. Big slapper. Milan with a block shot. As we see the final seconds drip off the clock here in the second period, the Baton Rouge Zydeco will enter the third frame, still on the power play on the double minor assessed after a review on a high stick against Ross Bartlett. Baton Rouge Zydeco go into the third period with a lead that maybe they did not think they would have coming in to the second intermission against one of the top teams in the FPHL, the Baton Rouge Zydeco, with the second least amount of points in the FPHL this season, but they have a 3-2 lead against the Athens Rock Lobsters. But if Garrett Rutledge hasn't told you enough, if I haven't told you enough, don't ever turn off your YouTube broadcast when the Athens Rock Lobsters are on, because you never know when you might get some, we might have to rebrand the Rock Lobsters. Last year we called them the cardiac crustaceans. This year it feels more like they're the no-quit crustaceans. Somebody who kind of embodies that no-quit mentality is Jesse Lowell, who has really come into this team with a team-first outlook and how he plays the game. Earlier on in the night, he extended his point streak to 11 games and has 20 points over that time. I had the pleasure to talk with him, one of the most polite young men that I've had the opportunity to meet. Here is our Lobster Tail segment with our former University of Arizona captain, a man who represented the USA. Here is Jesse Lowell. Hey there, Crustacean Nation, and welcome back to Lobster Tales on the Athens Rock Lobster Network. It's the go-to way for you fans to learn more about your favorite players. As always, I'm your host, Matchim, and my guest today is coming off of a memorable weekend with his first home goal in a fight in front of Crustacean Nation, an Illinois native, a former captain at the University of Arizona, and a representative of the USA at the World Cup of University Hockey. Welcome to the show, Jesse Lowell. Jess, thanks for joining me, brother.
Thanks, Matina. I appreciate it.
Look, man, I don't want to get too cerebral off the rip, but I think growth is something that so many of us want to be a linear thing, and it just isn't. It's peaks and valleys, and it feels like you're on the high of one of your best peaks of the season thus far, scoring in back-to-back games, dropping the gloves for the first time in your pro career, which we'll talk about later as well. And I think the fans are kind of riding that high with you right now. I guess my simple question is, how are you feeling?
Pretty good. I think at least a focus for me each week is just to get 1% better, even each and every day. I think, our veteran guys try and talk about that sometimes. And I think, at least for me personally, I can get lost in the weeds a bit with trying to perfect things. I tend to try to be a bit of perfectionistic. So, yeah, for me right now, it's just, riding the wave a bit. I mean, it's peaks and valleys. And right now I'd say I'm, climbing up, and I'm just trying to get better each day. So yeah, it feels good to get rewarded.
Well, we'll get back to the here and now a little bit later. Now let's go back all the way to the very beginning. You grew up in the suburbs of Chicago in Northbrook, Illinois. What did your first steps in hockey look like?
From what I remember, it was just my old man taking me out to skate. I got pictures of getting out there for the first time, and I got an older brother, 9 years older than me, Jared, and he skated as well. He was a good hockey player. He had a nice career in Arizona and played in Europe afterwards. So I think, him and my dad are just great role models. I talk to them every day about hockey, about life, and they really got me into the game. So
we'll talk a little bit more about Jared later as well. But Matt Garcia is someone who's around the same age as you. He grew up less than an hour away from where you did. Was wondering if that's anything that you guys have talked about or bonded over at all.
Yeah, it's actually it's funny how small the hockey world can be as well as big at the same time. Actually, I met Matt right behind where I'm sitting right now in September, and he was one of the first guys I met, and we had that Chicago introduction right away. But I'd never met him before that, so it is funny how big and small the hockey world can be.
You played for your high school team at Glenbrook North High School that produced NHLers like Mike Brown, Jacob Megna, JT Comfer. You came right in the middle of a period of success for that program, and you were a big-time producer for the Spartans. How did playing for your high school team shape you as now a pro later on?
Yeah, I think that was a big year for me as a U15. I had the option to, stay in AAA and play up with the 1999 birth year as a 2000. But that year, me and my dad kind of talked, and we were just more focused on development and also just kind of having fun. We thought it'd be a good year to go play for the high school, stay local, play a ton of games. And, it was a little bit lower level at high school, obviously, than what I was playing at AAA. And I just try to use it as, as a stepping stone. I had my brother on the bench with me as an assistant coach. So we really focused on, my development that year. And I feel like it allowed me to slow the game down, playing a little bit of a weaker level and just hone in on my skills.
Glenbrook North High School is kind of an iconic high school, and people might not know it by name, but it's famous alumnus director John Hughes. You can see the outside of the school in Ferris Bueller's Day Off and the inside in the Breakfast Club. Was that something that the student body thought was cool? Because I think it's awesome. Or is that something that maybe you and the others didn't even know?
I think people know about it. It wasn't talked about a ton, but when you drive on that road, where those scenes were taking place, it's cool. I definitely think about it, or I did think about it back when I went there. Geez, almost 10 years ago now. But
it's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
You as you mentioned earlier, you had your brother as an assistant coach at Glenbrook, and he's about 9 years older than you. You would end up following in his footsteps multiple times in your career by ending up playing at University of Arizona and then overseas in Europe, which also we'll talk about. But talk about how much Jared was a part of your development then, and maybe how much he's a part of that development now.
Yeah. Jared was huge for me right when he started coaching me my sophomore year of high school. Obviously, before that, he was doing his own thing. That was his first year out of retirement, or his first year retired. So that was kind of the start of him, coaching me. That summer we did a lot of intro to lifting, and he'd walk me through some of the plyometrics he did to get quicker, even stuff like shooting pucks in the backyard. That's my bread and butter now. Like, he taught me what I need to do for my stick handling, what I need to do for my shooting, and I still do that stuff today out at Akins. So that's pretty cool. And even fast forwarding now to like even last year when I was in France, me and him would sit down once a week and just go through my shifts. And he's just so smart with the game. He knows so much, and he just kind of break it down for me what I need to do with the puck in certain situations. And we were just really focused on how to create more offense. I think something I struggle with a bit is just holding on to the puck a little bit, letting the play develop. I think I have it in my arsenal to make those plays. I think I have decent hands and I got decent vision. So he was just helping me kind of, let things set up, be more comfortable, be more confident. And yeah, it was huge just sitting down with him each week, looking at my shifts and just trying to get better last year.
I think we know a lot of the skills that you bring because, I love to watch that, mixtape of your skills when you were at the University of Arizona, leaving Illinois, going to Tucson to be at Arizona Wildcat. You have a solid year your freshman season. You're an alternate captain your sophomore year. You're captain by the time you're a junior. You have the right profile to be a leader for years to come. Do you think you're more of a vocal leader, or were you more of a lead by example kind of guy?
I think I was both. I definitely was very vocal. I was very involved. At Arizona, that program meant so much to me. Being there for 5 years, I truly had such passion for it. I wanted the program to be successful. I wanted to win. And even more importantly, I wanted my teammates to enjoy themselves and, be successful, whether it was on the ice, off the ice, in school. I wanted everyone to, obviously graduate, take care of their schoolwork because that was important. And I just wanted them to, enjoy being on the hockey team there. So, my goal is just to do everything in my power to make sure everyone's enjoying it. And most importantly, everyone's working hard because every day I just want everyone to get better. And I think that's where leading by example came in. Practice was everything for me, just trying to be the hardest worker because, at the end of the day, if your captain's going as hard as he can, there's no reason that the other 20 guys on the ice shouldn't either.
And because of your time at Arizona, you got a very unique opportunity to represent your country a couple of years ago at the World Cup of University Hockey, and you wore the A. I've seen quotes from you on how special of an experience it was. Can you reminisce real quick about that opportunity and the moments that made it so special?
Yeah. Obviously, whenever you get to rep the red, white, and blue, it's special. It was the second time I was able to do it. Um, the greatest thing I took away from it was just, it was a all-star team of ACHA guys, and I just really wanted to learn how, the successful teams in the league ran their operations. I mean, I had Dakota Bond on my team who played for Binghamton for a couple years. He was very successful there. And then even like guys on the Canadian team, who were captains of their programs at Adrian, at Minot State. I mean, I know not too many people are familiar with the ACHA, but those teams have been powerhouses for years. So, the biggest thing for me was just talking with those guys and finding out, what is their winning culture and how could I bring that back to Arizona?
I think you definitely did that, especially with your individual play in Tucson. You end up going to play overseas to play in France with Honesty, and your brother took those steps first when he went to Sweden to play pro. What advice did he give you at the time to kind of adapt to the European game, and how do you think you adapted yourself?
Yeah. I think his advice for me is just, you got to try and be the best player on the ice every day. And I think it's a little bit different over in Europe as an import, and you could talk to, Garrett Milan, Carson Carrick, guys who played overseas. They're expecting you essentially to score every night. That's just how it is. I think it's important to, be a hard worker, make your hits, make your plays, but at the end of the day, they want you to produce. And for me, I think I do my best when I'm working my hardest and the kind of those things come, the offense comes from my hard work. So it was definitely a lot of pressure going into it, knowing, I needed to produce every night. But that was definitely his advice. And there was a little bit of a learning curve with it. And even there's a learning curve with that here. You gotta try and produce. Sometimes working hard isn't really enough. So there's layers to it, and I'm even learning that this year.
The Classic City would end up calling, and I feel like every guy has a different story on how the job in Athens came about for them. So, how about you? How and when did you know that the Rock Lobsters was going to be the next step?
Yeah, my story is a little bit interesting. After I got back from France, I feel like once your college career ends and you start tackling the pro career, you start asking questions like, how many years do I want to do this? Do I want to start finding a job, maybe settling down? You miss a lot of family events when you're playing hockey over the years. So all that came into play, and there was actually, I want to say maybe 6 weeks where I was fully done. Kind of hung up the skates. I was working for my dad and kind of just exploring that route. And then one of my family friends who's kind of helping me get placed reached out, and one of the teams in the league, actually PD, called, and they were going to give me a professional tryout. So once they called, I kind of started looking around the league. I didn't know anything about the league. I had buddies who played in Carolina, Dakota Bond, who I mentioned, who played in Binghamton. So I kind of talked to those guys, talked to Roman Kramer, who's a very good player for Carolina. And ultimately, it just came down to where do I see myself best? Like, what's a good fit for me? Where's going to be the best experience? What kind of teams are they? Do they have good culture? And even talking to Shanks in the summer, I just knew there was something telling me that Athens was the place for me. Just the way the culture is here, it's just unbelievable. It's everything that I tried to preach at Arizona, and Shanks kind of runs an operation similar to what I would, and that meant a lot to me. And it just was honestly a no-brainer where I wanted to be.
You end up scoring in the first weekend of the season in Indiana. You got to do that in front of your family who drove in. Obviously, Illinois, Indiana, not that far of a drive. In those first few games, what did you learn more about the FPHL and what it means to play in this league?
Yeah. I just didn't really know what to expect going into Indiana. Obviously a weird rank that we all talked about. Um, and I didn't know anything about the league, so I didn't really know, who we were playing, what kind of game it was going to be. So it was a little nerve-wracking going into it, but once we got out there, at the end of the day, hockey's hockey. Been doing it for 23 years, and I just tried to remember that. And honestly, like, my bread and butter is just being the hardest worker on the ice. I feel like that always shows. I mean, hard work over skill sometimes. So it was a good first weekend for me. I got a little bit comfortable playing with different guys and whatnot, playing center, playing wing. But yeah, I thought it was a good weekend overall, and I've just been trying to build from it ever since.
That kind of brings us full circle to the right here and right now. I remember that first weekend in Indiana where I heard you in the hotel lobby saying, it's weird to adjust to the fighting because, it just wasn't allowed in college. And yet this past weekend, you dropped the gloves. You look like a seasoned vet at it. It feels like, just not without, the fighting itself, you've added a gritty edge to your game as of late. But in general, can you talk about your growth through the season and what kind of path you feel that Coach Rutz is trying to put you on?
Yeah. To tackle that last part of it, I developed a good relationship with Rutz. He's a great coach. Talks to me all the time about different plays. I'm just trying to embrace it all and, listen to him, listen to the older guys like Milan, Shanks, Neiley. But honestly, his main thing is just like, stop being so hard on yourself and have fun. It was funny. He went to my parents the first weekend, and I guess he was like, yeah, Jesse seems like he's real hard on himself. And my parents laughed because obviously they know me and they know how hard I am on myself. So I think from him, he's just trying to, get me to loosen up and just play my game. And that's something I've been trying to approach, whether it's not being so tense before the game, maybe not getting too focused, with music and stuff like that, and just going out there and being confident in the way I play. So that's been big, and just trying to loosen up out there, believe in myself a little bit. And it always comes back to just, being the hardest worker out there.
There was a social media post a couple weeks ago where guys were talking about what players they would let date their daughter. And I asked Coach Rutz the same question, and you were the first name that he brought up. What does that mean to you to be, such a polite guy? I think if someone were to ask me like, hey, who's the nicest guy on the team, I probably would say Jesse Lowell. What do you think that says about you, your upbringing, and maybe how you approach a locker room culture as well?
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. In regards to my upbringing, I have an amazing family, amazing support system. My parents are unbelievable. They care so much, as you guys know. They come every weekend. Anything I need, they take care of it. As well as my brother, my two sisters. Just everyone's so great. We got tons of nieces and nephews running around shortly here. So it's been a great upbringing with the support. I always feel comfortable. They're so loving, and I think that translates well just to the locker room, because the most important thing for me is just, being the best person you can be. Guys feel that when you're genuine, you have a smile on your face, be a good teammate. It really makes a difference. And, with me coming to Athens, just on that professional tryout, I just wanted to show everyone that, A, I want to be here, and B, that I can be with, the way I carry myself, coming to the rink, being happy, trying not to have that bad body language, no matter if you're on the first line or if you're on the fourth line and not playing. So that's something that's really important to me. I feel like it always just pays off in the end to just be, the kindest person you can be and just work your hardest on the ice.
I brought you want to move better, feel stronger, and live healthier? Join Athens Health and Fitness, personal training, results-driven programs in a community that pushes you. Check them out at athenshealthandfitness.com today. Well, one could argue that the third period has been the best period for the Rock Lobsters this season, and it's going to need to be here against the Baton Rouge Zydeco. The Rock Lobsters down 2-3 against the hometown team. as the Zidico scored on the shorthand through Jake Cox to snatch the advantage at 3-2. Baton Rouge Zydeco still have 50 seconds of power play to deal with, so the Rock Lobsters looking for at least a goal, but they're going to need to kill off about 50 more seconds of penalty first. And if you haven't been watching the chat on our YouTube side, a lot of discussion about the call, and maybe we'll get some clarity after the game tonight about what exactly the rules are that allowed the officials tonight to review a high-sticking double minor when no one that was on the ice called it. Now, according to the FPHL rulebook, it states, or at least it sounds like it states, that the referees have the option, if they choose it, to confirm a high-sticking call, whether it be a minor or a double minor, if they had already called it on the ice. But that had never happened. So we'll see if we get any clarity on the situation after the game. Some of you commenting on the kindness that is always apparent with Jesse Lowell in our Lobster Tales interview with him. And if you haven't watched it all already, you can always find all of our Lobster Tail interviews on our official Athens Rock Lobster YouTube page. Go look for the Lobster Tales playlist. "20 minutes on the clock. And that is what separates the Baton Rouge Zydeco from what would be, I think, bar none, their biggest win of the season. They did have a big one against the Monroe Moccasins early on that felt like it kind of switched Monroe's outlook on things, and those were back in the Parker Moskal days. The Moccasins looking like a transformed team since then. They're up currently 5-3 against the Columbus River Dragons in a game that's also important to the Athens Rock Lobsters. Less than a minute of penalty to kill. Michael Greco will come out of the box in 50 seconds. Garrett Rutledge has been able to be a catalyst to find a spark in his team in between the second and third periods. Did he choose the right words tonight? We'll find out. Filip Virgili, great defensive play as he lifts the stick there on Jake Cox, who stands right now as the game winner. Lavalliere has it stopped at the blue line, but helped back out. Might be one final rush here. Here's the game winner again as it stands. Jake Cox with a dump in. Lavalliere leaves it for Maye. Pops up over the head of Jack Johansson. Athens kill the penalty. And now they got to go get a goal. Michael Greco back out on the ice. Garrett Milan snaps one up. Michael Greco pokes one through the crease. And we've got a blown whistle.
Make some noise for number 35.
Ed Coffey has the bucket off. Remember, history between Ed Coffey and the Rock Lobsters. We talked about there being 2 straight New Year's Eve games where the Rock Lobsters went to a shootout. The first time it happened back in 2024 was Ed Coffey, who was in net. He stopped 53 of the Rock Lobsters' 55 shots in that game. Less for him to do tonight, but his team is in the lead. And now it's the Rock Lobsters who are on the power play here. We'll get that fixed in just a second, folks. Rock Lobsters on the power play here. Carter Shinkarik wheeling around Coffey's net. Milan has Neiley behind there as well. Lowell settles it, finds Shinkarik. The captain right into the shins of Katola. Neiley snapping a shot towards Coffey, who covers it up. Not the first time that a Zydeco has taken exception against Neiley and poking in at the goaltender. Draw one by Bandurkin. Shinkarik up the left wing for Neiley. Splits the ice with a pass to Milan. Shinkarik wanted to get the slapper off, but had to handle it instead with a backhand. Gets under the stick of the Garrett Milan, under his blade. Bandurkin gets pushed into the boards. Falls out for Shinkarik. Milan. Slapper is a laser. Took a tip off, I believe, a Baton Rouge player. Clearance doesn't go to plan. Falls back down for Bandurkin. Shinkarik here on the near side pinch. Finds the Moscow Mule. Great back pass. Shinkarik's trying to set up Milan. Through the crease from Bandurkin. Into the slot. Off the boards from Cox and out. Rock Lobsters unable to get it done in the early going on the power play. Bandurkin with a crucial stop there on Alexanian. Rock Lobsters power play gets killed off by Baton Rouge. Glukarionov trying to kick it to Virgili. As Garrett Rutledge so often says, as we see a puck skip off the top of the window. It's special teams that so often wins you the game, and right now it's a short-handed goal that's the separator. Virgili, Mack, and Glukarionov now out for Rutledge. And they're stacking forwards on Mack's stronger side, but a rare face-off loss for the rookie. Maye. Lavalliere helps it onto the stick of Michael Greco. And Michael Greco will have to sit again for delay of game. Rock Lobsters still unable to find their groove.
In the penalty box for the Athens Rock Lobsters. Serving a 2-minute minor penalty.
Zydeco have been able to generate shots on the season, but not generate goals. But they have the important advantage in this game, and now they're back on the power play. Might be poetic for them if they can seal it with a power play goal. The team with the worst power play clip in the FPHL, ranking 14th out of 14 teams. Self-inflicted shot in the foot. Zydeco take it back out behind Coffey. Brandon Picard committed there, and out on the other end, almost fell favorably for Bartlett. Rock Lobsters might have to start rolling the dice here on the shorthand and get a little bit more aggressive in their offensive play down a man. Centering pass. Great defensive intervention by Joe Mack. Coffey makes a play to get it back into action quickly. And Coffey, with his play, has potentially been the shot of caffeine that the Zydeco have needed. Jack Johansson, good poke check, but not out of the zone. Oh my goodness. Creative deflection there from Jake Cox. Almost found the top corner past Lavalliere. Block shot right out in front by Brandon Picard. Out by Colatarsi. Michael Greco's back out on the ice. A little bit more aggression from Athens. Danil Glukaryov, Danny Dangles, Danny Deeks. Neiley, great poke check. Puck still loose in the slot. Rock Lobsters will take another penalty. This time it's Eric Neiley. Zydeco with another power play coming up after this commercial break. The Rock Lobsters not doing themselves any favors in Louisiana with the penalties taken. Still plenty of matchup to get back in it.
Hi, welcome to Chandler Jewelers. What would you like to learn today?
Looking for a new watch, something a little more fast, more precise.
Yeah, that one looks like it's seen better days. And let's get you something that can keep up.
Oh snap, I got a game to get to. Woo, plenty of time to spare.
Make your home feel brand new. Dalton Carpet One has the flooring that you've been dreaming of. Visit DaltonCarpet1.com today and step on to style. Rock Lobsters with another penalty, this time around to Eric Neiley. Feels like Neiley's had the most fire in his play tonight, so to lose him for another 2 minutes, down a goal. It's an inopportune time for the Rock Lobsters to take another infraction. Cleared out and hard off the end boards by Athens. Nick Catola out the right side behind Coffey. Brilliant pass to find Bartlett. Bartlett misses on the break over the bar. Milan spins one down. Shows that in the FPHL you can't take anyone lightly. Here at Milan, finding a different kind of gear, but loses out to Bartlett. Mack almost won it back, shepherding it back with the blade of his stick. Lavalliere backhands it to Colatarsi. Stopped at the boards by Hunter Alden. Another miscue of a pass, and what might save the Rock Lobsters is the Zydeco looking somewhat snake bit on the power play. That almost changes at an instant. But the Rock Lobsters are going to go 5-on-3 here. Right now, it's the Crustaceans that are taking themselves out of the fight. Filip Virgili, 2 minutes for hooking.
That's Rock Lobsters, 17, 2 minutes hooking. And here's Zydeco again, on the Badger.
Maya backhands it to the blue line. 5-on-3 here for the Zydeco. If there's any way to undo the perhaps snake bit nature of this Baton Rouge power play, could be here in what little time they have. 5-on-3. Jake Cox shoots one wide. They get Eric Neiley back to make it 5-on-4. Stopped by Jesse Lowell and sent down. Leah Jennings asking if we're the most penalized team. Not even really close, to be honest with you. Port Huron Prowlers are extremely penalized. Monroe Moccasins are extremely penalized. Milan with a diving poke check there. Block shot by Michael Greco. Passing hasn't been crisp. It hasn't been tape to tape from an Athens perspective. Lavalliere bobbles it before covering. Back underway. So about 40 seconds to go on this Baton Rouge power play. Have a shorthanded goal, but haven't converted on the man advantage yet. Looks like we'll go to even strength. Upset at the call was Weber, who will sit for 2. Holding the call against Weber. I've always said more open ice is better for the Rock Lobsters. They'll skate 4-on-4 for a segment before going back to a power play. It's 4-on-3 here because the Zidico has a broken stick. Shinkarik skips one like a stone, but off of Coffee. Bartlett relieves the pressure that was created by Alexanian's broken stick. Bandurkin, the Moscow Mule, to Neiley. Great centering pass. Glukaryov got under it. Sent a fly ball, and he was hoping to get a line drive. Rock Lobsters going 5-on-3. Great play there by Gleb Bandurkin, and it's starting to get to be now or never time. If it doesn't come for the Rock Lobsters with 1:20 of 5-on-3, will it come for the Crustaceans tonight?
Thank you for calling Thornton Brothers. How may we help you?
When the call comes in, our team moves fast. Because in our world, every second counts. Every delivery means protecting people, product, and places no shortcuts, no excuses. From warehouses before sunrise to late-night drop-offs when the rest of the city sleeps, we're the steady hands behind the scenes. On the arena floor, in the back hallways, and down to the locker room supplies, we help keep Athens ready, stocked, supplied, and moving. The fans feel it, the players count on it, the community depends on it. Thornton Brothers, proud sponsor of the Athens Rock Lobsters.
Baton Rouge looking for their third win out of the last 4 games. But they will have to try and kill off 1:20 of 5-on-3 to get there. You never count out the Rock Lobsters, but if they can't get it done in a 5-on-3, it just might not be their night. Bandurkin will take the face-off against Jake Cox. Bandurkin having drawn the penalty. Milan with a slapper off the stick of Katola and into the safety netting. Rock Lobsters with another face-off win. Shinkarik right in the chest protector of Coffee. A good job by Athens to generate some shot opportunities quickly in the time allotted to them on the 5-on-3. Bandurkin jousting for it, finds Shinkarik. Shinkarik unleashes one again, drops the bottle off the top of the net. Captain Fantastic with a screamer of a slapper. Shinks does it again. That is absolutely fabulous from Captain Fantastic. Stick slaps puck, puck slaps net. And we're tied up at 3 apiece. Still plenty of time on the power play to get something done and get a lead here. Jesse Lowell creating his own route, got out to the net front, but couldn't get the shot off on Coffee. Baton Rouge a little bit quieter now in the Raising Cane's River Center. Shinkarik brought down to a knee by Alex Sanyan. Neiley stops that puck from going any further. Bandurkin back to Shinkarik. Rock Lobster still on the power play, having scored on the 5-on-3. Shinkarik to Neiley, where he loves to make plays. Puts one through the crease. On the hunt for Shinkarik. Neiley has to reload in the neutral ice. 40 seconds to go on this Paloma Park power play. And with that goal, the Rock Lobsters have earned fans free churros for 24 hours through the FanSaves app at Paloma Park. Still a half a minute to go on the quadruple P. Shinks finds it, but couldn't find Bandurkin. Bandurkin taken to the glass. Shinkarik with his speed will create one last rush here. Shinkarik got forehand and put it up on Coffee. Going to be one last draw on the power play for the Rock Lobsters. So they'll get a slight advantage with numbers around the circle on the face-off. Rock Lobsters have tied it up with a Carter Shinkarik slap shot special. Zidico win the faceoff, send the puck down, and are able to get a skater back. Ice opens up for Daniil Glukaryov, centers it, then snaps a shot wide. Mack with an effort, blocked out from a short range. Virgili sends it down the glass. Maye there to answer it. Glukaryov at the far boards. Taken away from him in the direction of Bartlett. Still Bartlett. Ciolik. over everything and everybody. Falls to Garrett Johnson. Puck loose out in front. Sent away by Maye. Michael Greco puts Virgili under a little bit of pressure. The Swede able to get the pass off despite taking the check at the glass. Carter Shinkarik. Up ahead for Milan. Feeds the man to his right. Dom Dumas, the Dominator, takes the lead for the Rock Lobsters. Scored his second of the season earlier on in the night, but his third might be his most special of the campaign yet. It was all doom and gloom for a little while for the Rock Lobsters, but Dom Dumas has changed the complexion in the Raising Cane's River Center. Still plenty of time for the Zydeco to find a response. Milan helps it over to Dumas. Looking for the hat trick now. The Boise, Idaho native. Carter Shinkarik. Touched ahead, and Carter Shinkarik now has to do the defensive work on the 2-on-1. Lavalliere pushes it out to the boards. Now it might have been the Zydeco who've overskated it. Jesse Lowell trying to find Joe Mack, a rookie-to-rookie connection that just doesn't pay off yet. Like I told you earlier on, we might have to refresh the moniker. It's not the cardiac crustaceans anymore. It's the no-quit crustaceans. But as Kobe Bean Bryant once said, job's not finished. Mack almost kind of gets caught out there after the face-off loss. Toivonen sends one that flutters through the air like a frisbee. Pinch on the far side by Miettinen. Not kept in by the Zydeco via Ilnur Madyarov. Lavalliere makes a risky play that pays off. Lavalliere lets it run. Puck just won't settle down. Ciolik won't change that, but doesn't ice it. Knocked away by Ciolik. Bandurkin to Maye. A shot that was tricky for Coffey. He's able to shoulder it out of play. Final media timeout. The Rock Lobsters lead 4-3. Not the cardiac crustaceans, but maybe the comeback crustaceans, the no-quit crustaceans. Can they hold on here in Baton Rouge?
As a hockey player, my health is everything to me. When I got injured,
I didn't just worry about missing games. I worried about my future in the sport I love. From the moment I met you and your team at Piedmont Athens Regional, you gave me confidence. Your expertise, your care, your support, it all reassured me from the very start. Because of you, I've been able to recover, rebuild, and get back to playing the sport I love. Can't thank you enough for what you've done for me and my future. Your help means the world to me, and I'll always be grateful for your part in keeping my dream alive. Thanks to Dr. Graff and Piedmont Athens Regional, I get to keep playing the game I love.
4.5 minutes to go. The Rock Lobsters weren't down by much, just down a goal, but the penalties in the third period, the way that the Zydeco scored to make it 3-2 on the shorthanded goal, just Baton Rouge's fourth of the year. Great feed, Glukarioff to Neiley. Neiley got a knock, but nothing else. Neiley rides the line towards Bandurkin. Weber trying to get past Maye, but that's a big body to try and get past. Glukarioff to Maye. Backhanded towards the slot, falls for Greco. Two Ontario natives, and Greco and Maye. Deflection through the legs of Neiley. Coffey makes the save. Stephen Ford can't find a teammate. Bandurkin brought down to his knees, but quickly back up onto his skates. Glukarioff, slight tip, takes it on to the stick of Stephen Ford. Kolatarsi swats at it, but opportunity emerging for Blake Keller. Katola, pass to the right circle. Good movement here from the Zydeco. Down a goal with 3 minutes left. Cox misses wide. Baton Rouge layering the pressure late on. We'll keep a lookout for Coffey and his movements in the late minutes. Glukarioff helps it up the ice. .2:20 to go. Mietnin. Now it's the Zydeco who are getting a little bit more loose in their passing. Joe Mack slots one wide on Coffey. Filip Virgili under the right leg of Brandon Picard. Ice pick lets it run again. Filip Virgili whipped back around. Continuing to just shed seconds off the clock are the Rock Lobsters. A minute 48 remaining. Does Baton Rouge head coach Chad Bailey consider pulling Coffey off the pot? Smacked up towards Parks Owensby on the Rock Lobster bench. He'll give the puck back to the officials. I want to thank all 469 of you who have tuned in tonight for the broadcast. The support for away games has been tremendous this year, whether it has been the fans who have traveled or the fans who tune in from all across the continental North America. I was going to say continental United States, but a lot of Canadians that tune into the broadcast. Shinkarik, he tied to make it 3-3. Difficult save for Coffey. Coffey glancing towards the bench. Shinkarik with a backhand stop. Still not comfortable enough for Coffey to go back to the Baton Rouge bench. Coffee heading up the ice. Extra skater on. Brandon Picard up ahead for Neiley. Tried to center it for Milan. And there were so many Rock Lobsters up the ice to try and get the finish. Puck sent down now. Skips wide. Exactly 16 seconds to go.
Zydeco, welcome to Woodlawn Baptist Church, celebrating 175 years. Welcome to Zydeco hockey. Big thanks to Fresh.
Banshee Radio asking about viewership among FPHL teams on the YouTube side. And a lot of it depends. I mean, a lot of it depends on home games. When you have a sold-out crowd like the Rock Lobsters have had over their past few home games, you expect to have a lower viewership rate because all of your fans are watching the game, or a big margin of your fans are watching the game in the rink to watch their hometown team and cheer them on. Now, away games, naturally, because of that, you're seeing some higher viewership. But in terms of peak viewership around the FPHL, we're one of the top. Our subscriber count, I think, shows that. But right now, you take a look around the league, who has a great product, whose team is doing well, and who is in a market where fans care a little bit more about the sport. All of these factors contribute to the amount of viewership I feel as a little bit of an insider look for you. Now back to the matter at hand. 16 seconds on the clock. Zydeco are going to take the face-off here with Coffee emptied out of the net. Rock Lobsters love an empty net goal. Bodies over the puck to Milan. Takes a slight tip, might take it towards the net. Just misses out. They might not have let the empty net goal in, but there is no time left to get a goal back. Rock Lobsters come from behind again. They're the no-quit crustaceans for a reason. They're able to win in regulation to take them to 58 points. And while they may not have gotten the result that they wanted in Monroe, they are still able to put themselves in a position to perhaps retake the Continental Division lead tomorrow night if the River Dragons are able to split the series with the Moccasins. I'm not going to lie to you folks, it was a little bit doom and gloom for a while for the Rock Lobsters for large portions of this game, particularly entering the third period. Jake Cox scores on the shorthand against this Rock Lobsters power play and made it 3-2, and the Rock Lobsters continue to put themselves in penalty trouble. And where they may have gotten lucky is just how snake-bitten that this Baton Rouge Zydeco power play is, with the worst clip coming into this game at 12.1%. The Rock Lobsters, as always, were able to kill off those penalties, able to give themselves the best chance, and they go to a 5-on-3 power play. So it's penalty trouble on the other side that opens up the end of the tunnel. Shinkarik with another laser of a slapper. Carter Shinkarik's 10th goal of the year, remaining the top scoring defenseman in the FPHL. And he was the top scoring defenseman in the league last year as well, winning the Defenseman of the Year award. But first star honors of the night have to go to Dominic Dumas. He got the touch on a Shinkarik shot in the second that tied it at 2 apiece. He ends up getting his first game-winning goal of the year. The Dominator with a hugely important tally. And on the brace, the man from Boise, Idaho, is able to secure 3 points for the Rock Lobsters once again against the face of adversity. William Lavalliere will also secure the win, taking him to 12 wins on the year against a team where he spent a couple months in his career. And it sounds like, according to Dave in our chat, that Paul, who is one of our off-ice officials, he's actually the man between the two penalty boxes at Akins Ford Arena, was actually a goal judge tonight. And I'm wondering if he got asked last second to do that. I do know that he was in the building along with his partner Dan. So good on Paul. He's a little bit of a firefighter. He's always there when someone needs him. I know he was in the building tonight. Paul and Dan, both great people. But I also know that they are good friends and great admirers of the Baton Rouge commentator, Brian Flores, who once again was able to provide us with a feed tonight. Hugely thankful for that. I am up here in the sky here in Baton Rouge, as we'll send it up here. Rock Lobsters, once again, able to do it in the face of adversity. And once again, I'm asking myself, why did I ever question it? And a lot of it was because it felt like Athens themselves were down and out for large portions of this game and maybe felt that in their play. A lot of the self-inflicted wounds came on the penalties. A lot of times the Rock Lobsters weren't putting themselves in favorable positions. We'll see and ask the boys after the game on how the ice played, because it felt like it was difficult for the boys to stick handle. It was difficult to find tape-to-tape passes. But no matter what, it feels like the Rock Lobsters just find a way to get it done. So they might be the cardiac crustaceans. They might be the no-quit crustaceans. Whatever they are, you better not count out the crustaceans. The Rock Lobsters come from behind, late on in the latter half of the third period. Slap shot goal from Carter Shinkarik, 5-on-3 to tie it 3-3. And your first star of the night, Dominic Dumas, with a 2-goal game. Had just 2 goals to his name coming into this one. And that is a special performance from the Boise, Idaho native to win this one for the Rock Lobsters. Well, they're right now not announcing any 3 stars in the building, and eventually I believe a scorer will name them, but let's take a look to see if our technology is able to tell us the 3 stars. If not, you'll come right back to me. Doesn't appear to be the case. So we'll name them ourselves. Third star of the night is going to go to Tyler Larwood. Had 2 assists, but was buzzing all around the ice, was extremely crucial to generating those odd man rushes that we sometimes saw the Rock Lobsters get themselves into. But at the end of the day, you have to finish them off. The most important finish came from Jake Cox, who finished off the shorthanded break in the 5-hole of William Lavalliere. Second star of the night will go to Garrett Milan. 3-assist night for Garrett Milan as he stays atop the Rock Lobster point getters with now 42 on the season. But as we said earlier, a first star performance from the boy from Boise, Dominic Dumas, came into the night with 2 goals, and he finished tonight with 2 goals. A great, great performance from the Dominator, Doomer, as we call him. And he is able to secure the victory for the Rock Lobster from, once again, the jaws of defeat. Well, this has been Matt T and Rad saying so long from the Raising Cane's River Center. It's the cardiac crustaceans. It's the no-quit crustaceans. You don't count them out no matter what. They defeat the Baton Rouge Zydeco 4-3 Friday night in Baton Rouge. Tomorrow we'll come back